Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine and doing well. So students, welcome to science class of standard ninth, and today we are going to study chapter number 4, and the name of our chapter is structure of the atom. In the previous class of science, we have studied a chapter number 3. In that we have already studied so many things about atoms and its structure. So in this we are going to see the specific things about the structure of atom, and also the most important thing of this chapter is that we are going to see so many different kind of structures and theories of the atoms which is given by our previous scientist. Dalton, in his atomic theory, proposed that atoms are indivisible. Okay, so Dalton's atomic theory we have studied in chapter number 3, that Dalton was telling that atom is a very small particle which cannot be divided into smaller parts. From atoms, elements and compounds are formed. So these are the few things which we have already studied in chapter number 3. Now, one of our scientists named Thomson, he is given a model of atom. According to Thomson's atomic model, he compared the atom with the structure of watermelon. How in watermelon inside there are red part, and in that black bees are embedded. So he compared that the atom is also like watermelon. In the inner part of the watermelon, the reddish part is known as the positive charge. The whole means the positive charge are spreaded all over, and the negative charge, that is electrons, that are embedded in that positive charge. So Thomson was the first to propose a model for the structure of an atom. Thomson proposed that an atom consists of a positively charged sphere and the electrons are embedded in it. Just now we discussed. Okay, students? The negatively and the positive charges are equal in magnitude. So the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. So the we can tell that atom is electrically neutral because there are positive charges are spreaded in that, negative charge electrons are embedded. Then the next was Rutherford. Rutherford given his atomic model according to his own view, and he done the experiment of for the model of an atom on the gold foil. In his experiment, he showed fast moving alpha particles were more made to fall on the thin gold foil. His observation was a major fraction of the alpha particles bombarded towards the gold sheet passed through it without any deflection, and hence most of the space in an atom is empty. Okay, what was the first thing that he observed, that when the alpha particles was bombarded on that sheet, the all were moved to the other side without any kind of deflection, and most of the space, it means that most of the spaces are empty. Some of the alpha particles were deflected by the golden sheet on the small angle, hence the positive charge of an atom is not uniformly distributed. So he also observed that few lines or the few particles were deflected, which shows that deflection shows that there are positively charged, but positively charged are not uniformly embedded, which was given by this Thomson, that positively charged are uniformly distributed. No, he opposed that positively charged are not uniformly embedded. It is in the specific place where this are deflection occurred. The positive charge in an atom is concentrated in a very small volume. Very few alpha particles were deflected back. That is a way only a few alpha particles had nearly 180-degree angle of deflection, so the volume occupied by positively charged particles in an atom is very small as compared to the volume of atom. It means that very less deflection occurred, so it means that there are very less positively charged particles. One word drawbacks means the limitations of the Rutherford's atomic model. He explained the electron in an atom revolve around the nucleus in a well-defined orbits. Particles in a circular orbit would experience acceleration. Thus, the revolving electron will lose energy and finally into the nucleus. But this cannot take place, as atom would be unstable and the matter would not exist in the form we know. If it's so that the atom which we can see now in a circular form, it will not be possible. Then Bohr, the Neil Bohr is another Neil Bohr is another scientist. He given in his experiment Bohr's model of an atom. In this model, he showed that in the center there is a proton, and out in the outer of the proton there are few orbits, or you can tell few shells in which electrons are embedded, and each and every shell has a limited amount of electron which can be placed in that shell. Bohr came up with the postulates to overcome the objections raised against Rutherford's model. Electrons revolve around the nucleus in stable orbit without emission of radiant energy. Each orbit has a definite energy, and it's called an energy shell or energy level. An orbit or energy level is designated as K, L, M, N shells, where the electron in the lowest energy level is said to be in the ground state, means which is in the nearby the proton, they are said to be in the ground state. An electron emits or absorbs energy when it jumps from one orbit to another energy level. When it jumps from a higher energy level to lower energy level, it emits energy, while it absorbs energy when it jumps from lower energy level to higher energy. Means from the higher energy level to lower it comes, it absorbs the energy, and when it jumps from lower to high, it will lose the energy. Electron distribution in different orbit. The distribution was suggested by Bohr and Bury. The maximum number of electrons presented in a shell can be defined by the formula 2n square. Means in the K shell, which is in the K shell, if we take it is the first shell, so 2 into 1 square. So in the K shell, or in the first shell, or in the first orbit, 2 electrons can be there. In the second orbit, 2 into 2 square means 8 electrons. In the third shell, 18, and in the fourth shell, 32 electrons can be present. And the mass of the particles and the symbol of proton, electron, and neutron are placed in this table. Now, valency. The valency is the electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom are known as the valence electron. Okay, means say for example hydrogen having atomic number 1. So only one electron is present in hydrogen, and that will be in the first shell itself. Okay, in the same way, if we talk about the nitrogen or carbon, their outermost shell will be second or third shell. Okay, so in that outermost shell, that is known as valence shell, and the electrons present in the outermost shell, that is known as valence electrons. The combining capacity, or the tendency to react and form molecules with atoms of the same or different element, is known as the valency of the atom. Atoms of element have a completely filled outermost shell show little chemical activity. The combining capacity or valency is 0. For example, the number of electrons in the outermost shell of hydrogen is 1, just now which we have discussed, and magnesium it is 2. Therefore, the valency of hydrogen is 1, as it can easily lose 1 electron and become stable. On the other hand, magnesium is 2, it can lose 2 electron and can attain stability. Atomic number. The atomic number of protons found in the nucleus of an atom is termed as the atomic number. It is denoted by Z. Mass number is present. We can see the atomic number is present down the symbol, and the mass number is present on the superscript, means subscript and the superscript. For example, it is here gets given about magnesium. its atomic number is 12 and atomic mass is 24. Isotopes and isobars. Isotopes are defined as the number of these atoms of same element having same atomic number but different mass number. Okay, in this case, if we talk about isotopes, the same atom, for example, here it taken about hydrogen. Two hydrogen atom having same number of proton but different number of neutrons. As you can see here, hydrogen the same number of proton in all three, but number of neutron in this first one mass number is 1, second is 2, and the third is 3, because the number of neutrons in each hydrogen changes. So these all three are isotopes of each other. The atoms of different element with different atomic number which have same mass number are known as isobar. For example, calcium and argon both have same mass number 40. As you can see, calcium and argon have same mass number, that is 40, but different atomic number. Okay, as you can see, calcium has atomic number 20 and argon has atomic number 18, but atomic mass in both the cases are same, that is 40. So these are the things which we have studied in this chapter about the different scientist theory and how they given their theory and their limitations were overcome at last, and this Bohr's atomic model, which mostly we are following now, has been stayed into existence, and there's atomic number, isotopes and isobars and valency are the most important topics of this chapter which we have studied. Okay students, I hope you all have understood this chapter and enjoyed this chapter, and I hope you will complete this all the exercise from this PDF, and if you have any doubt you can come to school to meet us, and you can come to school for your book checking after every 15 days. Thank you for listening. Thank you.